or one per month. When you do go to the ballot to vote, they had an issue in North Carolina on fracking. They're trying to convince you guys to approve fracking. Do you know what it is?
Yes, I'm well aware of what it is.
Okay. The gas companies want you to approve it. They put it on a ballot to vote for it. Once they destroy your water supply, what are you going to drink? You got cheap natural gas, but you get to vote on it. Now, if you had an informed decision and you watched the 60 Minutes show on fracking, instead of the gas pipeline advertisement that claims that they are so far.
You won't find any argument from me that people need to be more informed when they're voting. But I'd also argue that about 75% here, 75%.
Well, you asked me what my solution is. My solution is to organize one web page, one national issue per week for 52 weeks a year that everybody in the country votes on. If you want,
You got Fox.
That's right.
That's where you're getting it. I mean, you got MSNBC. There it is.
No, but they don't ask the same questions.
Fox does.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay. Sure. But you understand what I'm saying? But you gotta answer the question the same way.
Oh, God. Yeah,
okay? You got to say yes or no, not yes, I am for gay rights if you approve the fracking. That is not an answer to are you for fracking or are you?
They somewhat have that already with
every time that a politician answers your question, they always change the question around so that they stand for it in a
Just Republicans or Democrats as well?
Both. I just got through telling you that Obama supported a $178 billion war machine. Okay, George Bush only had a $73 billion.
How much?
$73 billion. Yeah. George Bush's budget was $73 billion.
It cost, when we were in the heat of both wars, it cost $10 billion per month.
Thinking you were somebody else.
To be in both Afghanistan and Iraq. 10 billion times 12 is a hell of a lot more than that.
Yeah, it was over
$10 billion a month to be in both wars. That's times.
Unfortunately, Obama's.
That's $120 billion a year.
Obama's is bigger.
Actually, it's gone down because we've removed.
I'm telling you, it has.
When last year?
It's in 3 more countries. We've added in Afghanistan. We haven't taken away in Iraq.
Look up the constitutional budget for the war machine.
The constitutional budget?
Or whatever.
Defense budget?
Yeah, look up the defense budget, okay? And look up the section for, it's on the internet. Look up the section for.
And I'm willing to defer to you on that particular number. Okay. But over 8 years in office, Bush spent almost $1 trillion on his 2 wars alone.
I'm not discussing which one is more evil.
Right. Any type of
I'm a
war.
Vietnam vet, and these wars for old white men are a bunch of crap.
And I'm a retired National Guard.
Right.
But my point being is that any war of choice is evil to begin with on its merit.
Well, I'm just saying, Obama.
Yeah. Let me real quick. You asked a good question, and it was, what do you want? What I want in both state government and national and federal government is for politicians or candidates that are going to run for office to run on the concept that they are going to serve the people that they represent. They're not going to serve. I don't agree with Mitt Romney when he says corporations are people too. People work for corporations, but the corporate entity, IBM, does not have a voter ID card. Okay? So what I want is elected officials to serve the people they promised that they would serve if they got into office. I want the corporate money out of campaigns, and if the corporations are out of it, as an SEIU member, I will agree to take union PAC money out of it as well.
How much should individuals be able to contribute?
You know, Dr. Lawrence Lessig, who is a professor of law at Harvard University, has talked here in the last week or two about the idea that all campaigns should be publicly financed. That if you wish, you have that choice right now, and you don't look like a teenager. You look like you're old enough to vote. If you pay taxes and you file an income tax return, you have the opportunity to dedicate money for both your state and federal tax forms for money to go into public financing of campaigns. You have that choice. It's not forced. but I think that it should be looked at.
The income taxes.
Huh?
It's unfortunately the income.
No,
taxes.
actually, the only requirements in this life you have, and I would say this with my black brothers and sisters as well, is to be white and die. That's all you have to do, or be black and die. You don't have to pay taxes. It's your choice. If you want to, you have the opportunity. If you don't want to pay taxes, I will deal with the consequences. So that is a choice. But I want the campaign fine. I want the big corporation, big union, all of it out of politics. It has no place there.
You almost said big unions too. Isn't that good?
Well, I did say there's very few big unions anymore. I mean, it's SEIU at 1.2 million is the largest in the country. Now, SEIU International. SEIU International is the largest. It's actually 2.1 million.
But you're a member of the AFL-CIO.
No, I am a member of SEIU, Local 2008, here in North Carolina. But I would agree, if you take the 527s and the corporate influence from the Koch brothers, our Pope, and the whole 9 yards, out of it, then the Union PAC should be out of it as well. I will agree with that equally.
What about the millionaires on the left who funded more than the evil Art Pope did in North Carolina's election system?
Well,
and there were some that did fund.
There were some.
Get them out of it. I'm good with it.
I'm perfectly fine with that as well. So, that we ought to have a limit. Actually, there is a limit. Well, wait a minute. There is a limit.
So money is not free speech. That's what the Supreme Court said.
I understand what the Supreme Court said. What I'm telling you,
Court said as well.
Under Citizens United and other previous decisions, I'm well aware of what they said.
It's because of what the Supreme Court said. That's my point.
There are limits right now. There's 4,000. I can give $4,000 per election cycle to a legislator, a candidate running in North Carolina. I can give a maximum of $2,500 to somebody running for a congressional seat. That's fine. The problem is what we've got right now, and what Citizens United did not do was provide transparency. So that I know if you're a multimillionaire, you're limited to $2,500 to, say, Renee Elmers for her reelection. But Citizens United gave you the opportunity to take and write a $150,000 check to the Tea Party Express under a 527 anonymous donation. They don't have to, by law, reveal you. So we have no idea where the money's coming from.
Would you like a
I agree.
So I would say that's what, to answer your question, that George Soros, David and Charles Koch, the same way. All right.
Only order of magnitude is.
Now, I will agree with y'all on that point that it's not how much money they give, because I personally don't care. What is the issue? They need total transparency, and if every dollar is donated to him running for office, I want to know that. And if you own Goodyear Tire Company and you supported him, and he supported the law that built the factory that ignored the pollution that blew up the Tennessee Valley or whatever, that's what I need to know.
Do you think there should be a monetary limit on an individual? If I win the lottery tomorrow, should I be able to give all that money to a candidate of my choice?
Absolutely. I believe that you do, but I think that you need to be on a web page, and I know where that money came from.
You and Newt Gingrich agree, by the way.
Right now,
I'm here about issues. I'm not here about politics.
If you write somebody $100 check,
I wish that were true for everybody here.
When the next filing deadline comes around, I'll know you gave it.
Don't the Republicans say guns don't kill, people kill? The money don't kill. The corruption kills. There's nothing wrong. I mean,
you want to talk your whole
the
paycheck
politician happened to be donating all his money to get somebody to vote
I just want to know
renewable energy. And
I don't have a problem with
he
that,
says,
but I have a bigger problem with now.
Cars.
You know, everyone talks about corporate personhood. My problem is that corporation that there's no personhood if people can't give as much as they want to. It's against the law for me to give more than that amount of money that the government has arbitrarily set to even playing field. But there's
either one of them could be misguided.
It should be anyone's right to give as much money to whoever they want at any time they want.
People united will never be defeated. For people united
mob. Sorry, demonic. Hey, thank you.
I have a question for you. When you evaluate your system, what influence is it that is going to help you make an informed decision on how to vote?
50 million Americans.
How many jobs do they create?
What was the first part?
None.
When you make any decision
Wow.
on doing
Wow, that's ignorant.
How they get their money?
what is it?
See, here's my theory on this.
Because
There's two types of business people. There's entrepreneurs, and then there's capitalists. The entrepreneurs know how to start a business. They understand how the business works. They understand every facet of the business. They sell it to a capitalist who doesn't really understand it. They hire consultants, and they hire marketing, and they hire this, and it grows, and it grows, and it grows, and it grows. And when then they leave, another guy comes in, and they don't really know how it works. They don't know how to create the jobs. All they know how to do is run the corporation, increase the profits, raise the money, hurt the people. That's it. And it's not all corporations. See, I actually believe that competition is good. Competition drives innovation. Competition drives a lot in the United States. I agree with a lot of the capitalistic principles, but ultimately, it needs regulation.
How do
It
you
needs
think this
restriction.
mob? How do you think this mob is going to distinguish between a good corporation and a big bad evil corporation when 99% of the corporations out there are doing the right thing?
Right, it's the 1%.
Now, how do you stop that? How is a mob like this going to help solve that problem?
Your definition of mob is a little different than mine.
Okay.
But this is to drive the discussion. This is to get the politicians to look and listen and talk about it. It's not a mob. They're not anarchists. We're not socialists. All we want is rational conversation. That's it.
Look, flag upside down. These are not flag burners.
Yeah, you can pick
These
that
are
one
flag
guy.
burners. Yeah,
Sure.
I could look at any posters out here and see these people hate the American way. I saw a poster.
What is the
a minute
American
ago.
way?
The American way is American exceptionalism.
The American exceptionalism. That might have worked in the 30s. That does not work now. It is a global economy.
Or the reason it doesn't work now is because in the 30s you had a president who believed that spending money that we didn't have was a good idea to solve that problem. America was so wealthy then that they got away with it. And now His Honor, the dear leader, wants to do it again, only we don't have the money. And so now what we're doing is
Why don't we have
driving
the money
ourselves
again?
into debt because we've spent it all. With debts
We
for
spent
so
it all.
long.
No, I'm sorry. We took the taxes that were in place for these 400 people
My personal opinion, I think
and gave them back. And then 10 years later, what the hell? Where's the money? We went into Iraq. We went into Afghanistan. Like, the money didn't disappear. The money was spent.
The need to defend ourselves is greatly overrated.
Are you familiar with the military budget? In comparison to the rest of the budget?
I don't see what business that person.
Let's hear. Yeah. Compared to entitlements, let's hear that.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about baby boomers, for instance. Baby boomers have gotten everything they've ever wanted from the time they were kids all the way up through. And now, what they do, as they're waning in political influence and they're starting to retire, one more stick. Listen, let's keep our entitlements. Let's keep everything that we got. Screw the little man. Let's get rid of public education.
Why should I pay for their mistakes?
Why should you pay for their mistakes?
You are the class warfare.
Right.
No. Class warfare started 30 years ago. Okay, this is not class warfare. This is the product of
Class warfare now.
Well, first it was economic. Now it's generational. We're going to blame the baby boomers. Yeah, and so why should a public education system that's obviously failed? So you've got people who don't know how to create their own jobs, who don't know how to be entrepreneurs, and yet, like my friend who's got a master's degree in English from the great University of North Carolina, and what's she doing right now? She's working as a barista. You know what? Whose fault is that? Is that this big evil system, or is it the crappy education she got?
Let's talk about it. Okay, so corporations. Because you guys love talking about how universal health care would just bankrupt the country and yada yada yada. Let's talk about competition. Okay, if a company is deciding they want to move to North America, are they going to put a business in Toronto or in Michigan? Because in Toronto, they're not going to have to pay for the health care. They're not going to have to
do it because it's just health care.
No, but that's a huge part of it.
Right.
That's a huge part of it. They're looking at numbers, just like all you capitalists
They're
like to
grinding
look
up
at.
streets in Detroit, making them, and then making farmland out of part of the city because people are fleeing.
They're deconstructing.
It's been under a Democratic or legal control for many years. You're sitting there saying that that's good.
No. They dropped. They've lost jobs. They're coming back. Look at the economy in Michigan right now.
If they lowered minimum wage, then maybe they'd come back.
So get rid of the minimum wage. That would be.
What is the race to the bottom? The race to the bottom in the world, right? So we're competing. We're competing right now for labor with Bangladesh, with China? That doesn't make any sense. Aren't we better than that? Isn't it American exceptionalism? Why do we want to depress our wages so much?
No, we increase our wages. And
it's inflation.
No wonder we go on.
It's a market economy where it makes more sense to them just to give up on America.
Give up on America. No, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to go to Bangladesh, to go to China, to go to all these third world countries for labor, right? So why would we compete with that? Why would we compete with that? That doesn't make sense. Yeah. Why would we compete with labor of third world countries? That doesn't make any sense. We need to higher education. Education is it.
Education was the issue for years and years and years, and it still sucks.
Right.
They didn't fire any teachers in New York City, maybe one in the last 15 years. And you're sitting there saying that's a great system?
I have no idea if they've only fired one teacher in the past 15 years in New York. That doesn't sound right.
What's the how many government workers have been laid off in the last in this recession in the state of North Carolina?
Right. Now, if you look at the job numbers from last month, and you look at the amount of people that lost because of the government jobs that were cut, and then the amount of private companies that gained jobs, like if we wouldn't have cut those government jobs, we actually would have hit the 2% that we're looking for.
Well, I'm sorry, say it again. If we hadn't cut those government jobs, what?
It would have grown. It was stagnant last because we lost about an equal number that we gained. The public jobs, the government jobs are the ones that we lost. Private ones are the ones that we gained.
Let's do a reality check. Do you agree with Pelosi that increasing unemployment compensation is creating a job?
Let's talk about that.
No,
unemployment
yes or
no. You can't. Unemployment
give us a straight answer.
No. There's not a yes or no question. Like this is what unemployment insurance is for. Unemployment insurance is for the people that actually need it. When you guys talk about the individual welfare mama or the one that abuses, that's not the reality. That's not the majority.
It's the 1% that give the other 99% such a bad name.
Yeah.
That's not the majority of people that need it.
The government ought to hire all 15 million unemployed people.
Did what?
Jesse Jackson Jr. came out yesterday and said the government should hire all unemployed people for $40,000.
That's the logical extension of what you're saying.
$5 billion.
No, it's not. Because I don't agree with that. So it's not the logical extension of what I'm saying. Unemployment insurance, a strong social safety net is what we need. Okay? If you want competition, if you want entrepreneurs, if you want people to be educated to start their own business and to really motivate, competition will do that. Okay? If you don't have a strong social safety net, if you don't have something that people can take a risk and still fall down and land on their feet, they're never going to do it. There's way too much trepidation to do that.
Oh, it's like training wheels. Ultimately, the only way my son learned to ride a bicycle is we had to ditch the training wheels.
Yes.
And so there has to be a sense of...
That's a very good analogy.
It's panic to survive as a business.
Panic, that's falling into the social safety net. Not having a social safety net.
That's finding out.
Not having a social safety net is not panic. It's a death sentence.
I guess we're going to disagree on what a social safety net is viable. Because too much of it creates a hammock.
I agree with that. Too much of it does create a hammock. But we don't have too much of it right now.
You look at what these people nationally are supporting, and they want, a good paycheck for anyone, for everybody? I have to, because this movement, just like the Tea Party, has a central idea, which is the Constitution.
No.
Okay, in my opinion, that's what it is.
Sure.
And in my opinion, what these people are, their central idea is destroying corporations, is redistribution of wealth to the non-producers.
Right, so that's not what it's about. This is not about the Constitution. Okay?
I know it is.
And
not.
I don't even think the Tea Party.
True, amen, brother.
I don't think the Tea Party was about the Constitution.
Really?
It's about corporate money corporate money out of politics.
Well, I'm a Tea Party organizer in North Carolina. There's over 50 of them, and they're all about the Constitution. So we didn't receive a single dime from Coke. So
corporate money out of politics. We can agree on that on both sides. That's what this is about.
There's a lot of similarities between this event, or these events, and the Tea Party.
I agree.
But we are believing that it comes from the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That's where the answer comes.
I understand the difference. It doesn't matter the means, it's the end. Corporate money out of politics. That's it. That's all I'm suggesting.
Doesn't matter the means, it's the end. Write that one down there, Mr. TV reporter.
You can take it to an extreme. You can absolutely take that to an extreme if you want to.
Yeah, it was.
But ultimately, it's corporate money out of politics. It's not Republican, it's not Democrat, it's not conservative, it's not liberal. It's corporate money out of politics. It's ending Citizens United. Union money. It's all the same. Get money out of politics. Public money out of politics. Billions of dollars are going to be spent in this election. Billions.
But individuals can donate, because it is true. You can buy your way to the White House now. I mean, you can buy your way anywhere. And that's got to stop.
That's got to stop.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what this movement is about. For me. Now, you can point to the extremists. You can point to the people that think all this crazy shit. Ultimately, it's corporate money out of politics. We can agree on that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we aren't agreeing.
The reason I disagree with you is because unions are getting a free pass. Tax-free organization, unions, these are government employees. They're working against the wishes of the producers of this country. And so the unions are going to do to American government what they've done to the auto industry, what they've done to the steel industry, what they've done to the airline industry. They destroy everything they touch by sucking the lifeblood out of it.
I think that unions are very similar to corporations in that there are some that are good, there are some that are bad. The ones that are bad, the biggest ones that are bad are the ones that create the entire narrative for everyone else. This 1% is the same way. You take that 1% of corporations that does the tax loopholes, that gets all the offshore...
The largest union in America, the SEIU.
Individual unions.
Well, you're saying 1%? No, that's the 99% of the unions. You know, your carpentry union, I don't care about that. But it's the service workers and these people who've been their dupes by this union leadership that are card-carrying Marxists, and they're driving me nuts.
I can't speak to the Marxists, but I can speak to... I think we agree. I think we agree on this. I think we agree that there's a stratification of unions, of corporations, of people, and the top part of all of it, this 1%, whatever you want to call it, this is just a good marketing term, 1%. This 1% is the one that pushes. It's the one that gets the money in politics. That's what's got to stop.
If you destroy your 1%, you will destroy.
I'm not saying destroy. I'm not saying destroy.
Okay.
Listen, I am not. This is what I am doing. I am trying to start the conversation that it is the money. Okay, it is not politics. Like Tea Parties, this could be the same rally. Okay, there are people that are up there talking about some crazy stuff. Anyone can get up and talk. Anyone can get up and talk and say anything. Like that's what this is. If you guys want to get up there and say something, you can. You can get in line and talk. Listen, I'm part of the General Assembly and the Facilitation Committee, and we had this big long discussion about it last night. Anyone can talk. There's an entire soapbox time period where you can get up and you can espouse your beliefs. But ultimately, what I'm talking about is the money in politics. And it is completely out of hand. Citizens United has absolutely set us on the wrong path. Like, you cannot disagree with that. Unlimited amount of money in politics.
Well, we agree with you as long as we agree with you as long as the unions keep their money out as well.
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't care.
That's the big thing.
Money out of politics. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Is what
when you stop the unions,
Trump is not going to go for it. Trump is not going to go for that.
I don't care about Trump.
Well, he's SEIU.
Look,
he's the head of SEIU. He's going to care about it.
Demonize one particular union.
Yeah.
Don't demonize one particular.
You're getting a flavor for it. That's good.
Yeah.
That's not it. We can agree on the money in politics.
Yeah.
So why don't we take that message? That's my argument. Before we can talk about social
I agree. Let's get unions out of politics. I agree.
Yeah. You guys want to see something?